So powerful. Oh, gosh. You are listening to Our Voices. My name is Natasha Nurse. More with my guest, Megan Aronson, an author, speaker, thought leader, and mental health and addiction recovery advocate. Next on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
90.3 WHPC wants to make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov.
And would your business survive a disaster? Nearly 2/3 of businesses aren't prepared for an emergency, and 40% of businesses that experience a disaster never recover.
Make an emergency plan now before it's too late.
For a free online tool that helps you develop an emergency plan to keep your business up and running should disaster strike, visit ready.gov/business.
Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the American Red Cross, the Ad Council, and the voice of Nassau Community College. 90.3 WHPC.
Welcome back to Our Voices on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Natasha Nurse, and my guest today is Megan Aronson. She's an author, speaker, thought leader, and mental health and addiction recovery advocate. Megan, I have so many questions for you. You were just giving me life on this interview. I adore you. Oh my gosh. Yes, queen. So I'd love to hear if you could share some of your daily practices of success that you implemented in your life. Because I imagine these practices of success would be things that you share about in your writing and your speaking. So, share for everyone listening. What does that include?
One of the biggest things for me, which I wish I had set up before I hit this period of so many losses and challenges, was having a morning routine. Some of the greatest motivators out there say, own your morning and you own your day. Mm-hmm. And I've found that just having that ritual every morning of getting up, getting outside first thing in nature, exercising, and then coming home and meditating and just kind of visualizing what I want my day to look like, setting intentions, seeing it as if it's already happened, all the things that I want to create, that has made a huge difference for me, and especially meditation. I discovered meditation through Elizabeth Gilbert's Eat, Pray, Love.
Yes,
I just happened to pick that book up and way after it had been popular, right in the midst of all the grief, and I was so desperate for some peace in all the storms. And when I finally got myself to sit still for 5 minutes, it was the first peace I had felt in years. And so I just took that and expanded on it and meditate even, probably 20, 30 minutes every day now. And the other thing that has been really big for me is Tony Robbins' advice, emotion follows motion.
Yes.
That has made a huge difference in my life. Up until 4 months ago, like I said, I was in bed having 20 seizures a day.
Wow.
And one day I just got up and I looked at my bed and my bike and I was like, bed, bike. And you know what? I didn't get back in bed. I got on the bike and I started out with 5 minutes of yoga in the morning and then 10 minutes of yoga and then 15 minutes of yoga. And now I go to the gym several times a week. I haven't had any seizures in 4 months.
Wow.
And it's almost impossible to be depressed when you're moving confidently in nature or releasing endorphins through exercise.
Yeah,
It really is true. Emotion follows motion.
I love that. Okay. And how have mentors played a role in this journey for you as well, if they had in any way?
Most of my mentors I haven't met because they're authors. And one of the best ones is Elizabeth Lesser. Her book, Broken Open, I would highly recommend to anybody who's struggling with grief. That was the first book that really made me feel seen and heard and understood and helped me to know that it's okay to let yourself be ripped wide open with loss because you're distilled down to the purest essence of who you are. You find the greatest strength you could never have imagined in that space, and then you can take it and use it to make any rock bottom moment turn into a launching pad instead of a docking station.
I love that. Wow, really? Broken Open is the title, right?
Broken Open, Elizabeth Lesser.
Okay,
yes.
I have to check that out. Okay. And what would you say are the biggest consequence of not dealing with your grief? For people who shut down, they say, I don't need a therapist or I don't need to deal with this. It's a part of life. What do you think is the true cost of that?
Well, in my husband's case, he used the drugs to numb himself while we were going through all of this, and it nearly cost him his life. He almost died of an overdose. And for me, I mean, that says it all right there. And for me, when I was in my 20s, I had the most devastating loss, which was my nephew when he was 2 years old. And I was so wildly unprepared for grief at 21 years old. I turned myself into a sponge, and it was like I just went out looking for anything to fill all the holes in me. And I made so many bad choices out of that, so that when all these losses started again in 2009, losing everything in the recession and then all these deaths, I realized I couldn't go at it that way again. I had to just face it head on and lean into the pain. And actually, I found that every time I leaned in, Eckhart Tolle has this great quote. I'm going to paraphrase it. Any negative emotion, how does it go? Any negative emotion must be fully expressed in the moment it arises, or it leaves behind a remnant of pain. So basically what he's saying is the moment it happens, let those tears flow. Let that pain out. Find a healthy outlet for it. Otherwise, that pain owns you. It will find a way to seep into every aspect of your life if you don't just let it out when it comes up, and then when it comes up again down the road and down the road again and again, just keep letting it out and giving it those healthy outlets. I found that writing in a journal was really helpful for me because it's kind of a dose of self-empathy when I read it back. Even if I didn't have anyone else to talk to, that was kind of how I turned myself into my own best friend. But I do highly recommend reaching out, because isolating when you're in grief is really just a deadly combination when you're struggling with anything. Reach out, get help from somebody, talk to someone.
Absolutely. I hope everyone listening takes this advice very seriously, because I, in my life, would say I know too many people who do the reverse, right? What you're telling them not to do. They're like, I got this, let me just get some rum, and it's more destructive than it ever is helpful. So I appreciate that candor. And you are listening to Our Voices on the voice of Nassau Community College 90.3 WHPC. My name is Natasha Nurse, and my guest today is Megan Aronson. She's an author, speaker, thought leader, and mental health and addiction recovery advocate. And Megan, oh my gosh, I want to speak to you forever, but I don't have forever. So we're gonna, I want people to understand where they go to learn more about you. So website, best way to reach you, and please spell it out. And then we're going to get to some rapid fire questions.
Awesome. Well, right now I've got a book coming out. Hopefully, I'm seeking representation right now on my memoir. It's called Rise Again. It's the story of how my husband and I survived this addiction and saved our marriage and even had another baby. And you can connect with me and find out more about when the book will be released on my blog, which is www.meganaronson, that's meganAronson.wordpress.com. And you can also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter is one of the best ones to reach me on. I post there most frequently. And I'm just going to keep going on this mission to share my story and with everyone that I can, so that everybody on earth knows that they are not alone with whatever they're struggling through, and just can feel safe owning their struggles and knowing that it is in falling and rising again that we discover our greatest strength.
Absolutely. I love that. And with that, we're going to get to some maybe less deep questions and get everyone to... it's been a bit heavy right now. So with that, what would you say is your number one thing on your bucket list?
Publish my book immediately.
I liked how you worked that in there. Very nice. Okay. Okay. And is your
is my number one desire.
Gotcha. And is your favorite book Rise Again?
No, my favorite book, I'd have to say, is Cheryl Strayed's Wild. I love the way that woman writes. She can write about getting through hard things in a way that makes you feel like you can get through anything as well, Okay, awesome. And what would you say has been the best advice you've ever been told? The best best advice I've ever been told was Maya Angelou. When people show you who they are, believe them. That was what got me to make a stand for my family and kick my husband out and start a whole new life. And now I'm living the life of my dreams. I just bought my dream home, and my husband's 5 years sober, and we have 4 beautiful children, all because of that line helping me to really see the truth about my life.
Oh, I love that you, brought up our sister, Maya Angelou. And, yes, I tell that to people all the time. Why are you fighting what's right in front of you? When people show you what they are about, just say thank you and act appropriately. I say that quote all the time in talks and things that I do. So I love that. Okay. And, you mentioned, you do yoga in the morning. I was going to ask what's the favorite, your first thing you do in the morning, but, what is the last thing that you do before you go to bed?
I use this little trick that you spend the last 5 minutes before you go to bed just really visualizing the greatest, biggest dream that you have for your life and playing it out with your imagination like it's absolutely happening in full detail. And then that kind of sits and soaks in your subconscious all night. And I think it just makes you more capable of creating those dreams and manifesting them in your life. It's a Wayne Dyer thing.
Yes, I love that. Okay. And if you could go back and give yourself advice in the past, what age would you go back to, and what would you say to yourself?
I'd go back to 17, right before I became an adult, and I would tell myself, life's going to get hard, but you're going to get harder. And I'd tell myself to always firmly believe in my ability to figure things out because I'm stronger than I could imagine. Yes. And I think we all should tell ourselves that.
Absolutely. Yes, we are all capable of more than we think we are. And you, Megan, are just so inspirational. And I'm just so grateful that you came and shared your amazing and truly inspirational story on Our Voices.
Thank you so much for having me. It has been such an honor and pleasure. I am so thankful that you have created this platform where people can use their voices to speak out and try and connect and reach other people and help other people.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Guys, I hope you found Megan Aronson, author, speaker, thought leader, mental health and addiction recovery advocate, as inspiring and informative as I did. My name is Natasha Nurse. I'm the proud host of Our Voices here on 90.3 WHPC. Our show's creative director is Rudy J. Breedy. Visit nccradio.org. That's www.nccradio.org for more information. This is going to be available as a podcast on iTunes, Android Podcasts, and Spreaker. Our Voices is powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.